Good morning. Hello, 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 my good people. Miss Sunshine here. As always, just bringing a bunch of love, light, and sunshine your way. Well, if we made it through Mother's Day, another holiday, hey, I love that for you. Um, I'm coming to you today, and it's real crazy. I didn't post yesterday because I just felt like just giving everyone space. You know, whether people had to go do visiting, whether people wanted to just be within themselves, have their own moments. I just respected that. And I actually had a whole look colorful stuff, a whole bunch of stuff, that I was going to talk about this morning. But as always, spirit just mm, leads me in different directions. I initially thought my channel would be me doing my tarot card readings, you know what I'm saying? Um, me just letting the collective in on some things. And Spirit came to me last night and pretty much said there are enough people doing that. Just be you. Um, just talk about what you're led to talk about. Be your true, authentic self. We have enough, and oh, no shade because I watch them myself. We have enough, people telling you about what's going on in the universe, the planets, the alignment, getting to know you, spirituality. We have a whole lot of stuff out there, and sometimes it just mm, confirmation. Sometimes it can become overwhelming. Please know every time I click that record button, energy just flows through me. It's scary because, like, even when you look at like the pictures, how they have your videos, and that main picture to have you like face looking all kind of crazy, just images that just sometimes make you shudder. So you know, being very conscious and aware and embracing myself um, through the fear. So, in saying that, everything I planned on talking about out the window, because as I reached this Mother's Day, like it kind of came to me, going through the holidays, looking at um, parenting styles, and looking at how our parents raised us, how their parents raised them, and kind of like almost showing a little grace. If you are a parent as a mom, shit never stops. I said I wasn't gonna cuss on this page or, things like that, and I will really try not to. Um, but I'm gonna put a disclaimer in that mm, I'm a spiritual gangster. I'm not your typical spiritual person. I'm not spirituality wrapped up in a bubble. So, in saying that, you know, I look at parenting, and the one thing about parenting, as we all know, we all have our opinions about it. We all have our opinions about how we were raised, things that trigger us. Because, I mean, let's be honest. you hear a lot of people, and I have to find the right way to say this. You have a lot of people that, because of things that happen in their childhood, um, it's a reason for some of their adulthood behavior. Okay. Um, because X, Y, and Z happened to me, this is why I do this over here. And that is understandable. That's understandable. So like today we're gonna get into a couple things. How we were parented, how our parents parented us. Okay. If you have children, how you parented them. And if your children have children, how they're parenting their kids. Here's the thing, when we have things that happen to us in our childhood, you know, that our parents have done, we want to go to our parents and talk to them. Now, if you are a parent and you have a child and your grown child comes to you and they want to talk to you, it's crazy because what I see is a lot of defense mechanisms. I didn't realize that until like my children became grown, and now my children want to come to me and tell me what I didn't do as a mom and how they feel about some of the stuff I did. Now in my head, now I knew I wasn't perfect. Oh, I knew I wasn't perfect, but that is the hardest thing to do, to sit there while your kids, your grown children, are expressing their feelings to you. Now, I say right, wrong, or indifferent, you owe them that. You owe them that without being defensive. You owe them that because these are their true feelings. And from their perspective, this is what they see. But this opens up a whole line of communication that you can have, and it's trauma that's within that young adult that you can help them get past. Me as an individual, you know, having those moments where, you know, having to go to my parents and be like, okay, this is how I feel. And this is how, what you did to me made me feel, because I found myself going through life in that state, like mad, mad, because in my head, this is what I saw. In my head, you know, you can always um, believe anything, and some are truths, but some are from your perspective, what you know, what you're able to see. And here's what I learned. I had to take into account, now, first things first, with our parents, if we're in our 40s or 50s and we're blessed enough to have our parents now, but throughout the journey with the parents, um, look at their knowledge base, look at their conditioning. We were raised with the amount of information they had, with the tools that they had. And from the level of the tools that they had and the mindsets that they had, giving grace and having that understanding. Um, because if we're in our 40s and 50s, there's a lot of things that we've seen and a lot of things that we've learned um, about parenting, um, about what works and what doesn't work. I'm not going to say there aren't books out there for it, because yeah, now there are a whole bunch of books. So when we go to our parents, when I went to my parents, usually if you're 40 or 50, 30 or 40, 20 or 30, and you go to your parents and you tell them how you feel about what they did, number one, they're going to get real defensive. They're going to get defensive. I was blessed enough that my parents didn't get defensive. I've always been kind of unspoken. Wow, because there were a lot of things that were unspoken. I've I've been outspoken in a way that expressing myself was very blunt uh, and very matter of fact. So I'm 5'3" sometimes, and that's how I was, like, for real. So, coming to them with my truth, I didn't get pushback. I didn't get pushback. So, I mean, they allowed me to speak. Um, Now, did it help? Did it change? You know, um, for me, yes, because my intentions were released, and that's when I noticed we just want to be heard, whether you agree with it or not. Because the moment the resistance comes up, now, now you have anxiety. Now you have anger. Now you have defensiveness coming up. And as well, it's how we present the information. If you're going to your parent and you're not having clear communication, and you're just, here's what the fuck you did to me, and you ain't right, and I don't want my kids to be like it. I'm gonna tell you right now, it's not gonna work. I'm gonna tell you right now, your parent is gonna get in the parent mode and be like, the fuck are you talking about? And who the fuck you talking to? So now the conversation ain't going nowhere. Nowhere. See, me being in this middle point, it allows me to see that not only do how I want to be heard, that's how my child wants to be heard. Because not only am I a mother, I'm a daughter. And now being a grandmother of an 18-year-old girl and a 14-year-old girl, those are my two teen girls, but I have more. It allows me to understand better and to try to break some of these generational chains. Just break them. This is what I'm here for. So, having my children coming to me. Now you have one that'll come to you and be mad. Be mad. I'm not even going, oh my gosh. If you know, you know, and I'm not going to do all that. But I can tell you, sometimes when your children are hurt, grown children, they want to be heard, they want to be understood. And there's going to come a point in all individuals' lives where you're going to want to go to your parents and you're going to want to talk to them and you're going to want to be like, hey, you know what I'm saying? I don't want to do it to my kids. So, you know, I want to talk to you about this. You do have to show compassion. You do have to show grace. You know what I'm saying? And you do, if you're in your 40s or your 50s, you know what I'm saying? And all right, we have people that be like, well, that's not my kid. My kid ain't coming to me. I did everything right. Okay, well, then that's not you. So this isn't for you. So move along. But for the ones that, you know, it's going to happen, it's going to occur, you're going to have to, whether you're the one going to the individual or you're the one receiving this, you're going to have to show compassion. You're going to have to be receptive of all the information. Um, and you're going to have to know you don't have to agree with what they're saying, but you do have to respect it. You do have to allow confirmation, those words to be spoken. For a parent hearing their child come to them with their grievances, when you know, because what I hear from parents and what I say myself, what the fuck, I didn't sacrifice for you. Do you know what I gave up for you? Do you know what I had to do to make sure you had everything you needed? And now you coming to me telling me I ain't do some shit for you? Get the fuck out of my face. I know you're gonna want to feel that way. Cause I mean, I hear it. And in the same tone, you know, at the same time, you do have to realize that your children don't have all the information you have about these situations. If you are anything like me, a child must stay in a child's place. So, adult situations, adult business problems, anything that I had, my kids, I didn't put that in front of them. They're living their, I want them to live their best life, even if when they get older, they be like, what? So I had to take that into consideration when my children would come to me, and they still do as adults. I find out something new every day. It's good. It's good. You know what I'm saying? And even if it isn't, you know, what you would think to be good, I think it is because, you know, I know the growth. I know I wasn't, you know what I'm saying, man, the perfect parent. I was learning and growing with my children. So when I take that into consideration, that they don't have all the information. So from their perspective, yeah, of course they're going to feel like that. And that's what I love about it, because then it opens up the conversation of, now they're grown, the grown version, the behind the scenes version. And giving them that behind the scenes version allows them to see the situation from a bigger picture, not just from where they were. Now, what clicks in more is because I get phone calls now from my children because they have children. And it's almost like deja vu. They're calling me, you know, and they're like, oh, I get it now. Oh, that makes sense now. And that's the most beautiful thing. Not saying everybody has a perfect life and we just out here to, no, 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 no. Mm-mm. But the communication, because if your children, your grown children, can't communicate this, if you as an adult can't communicate this, look, you stay stuck. And when I say you stay stuck, there's something you can't get past. It's, you have, um, you don't get to have that full release. You don't get to heal the way you need to heal, the way your body wants you to heal, the way spirit wants you to heal. So, mm, Cancer picked the wrong girl. Oh, yeah. I, mm. Anyway, trigger warning. But, I'm saying all this because, it's Mother's Day, it's Father's Day, and we are really quick to judge what someone else is doing, and rightfully so, because some parents, we are out here not really holding it down for our children. And some parents, we are holding it down for our 10 toes down. Like, for real. Two ends of the spectrum. You know what I'm saying? You have some that think they're doing it, and you'll look at them and be like, well, you might want to go back to the drawing board on that. But in any of those cases, it's not up for me to judge. hmm I really do tell my children all the time, I'm ever growing, I'm ever evolving. You know, even one time, my daughter and I were talking about something, and I think her kids had done something, and she, oh my gosh, it was something, and she was heated, and she came to me, and just as calmly, I was like, woo, woo, woo. She was like, what? That ain't what you said, to me. And da 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 da. Long story short, what she was saying is the old version of me would have reacted in a different way. And that's what she expected. And I had to let her know that that old version of me no longer exists. That I'm ever growing, ever changing, always obtaining new information on everything, my perspective of things. And that's one of the things we got to let our kids know too. Like, for real, growth is inevitable. You're sitting here staying stuck in your ways, and I have to apologize to my children. I showed up at the level that I was. As I'm growing, as I'm evolving, you know, I am showing up differently to show them that there are different ways. But that communication is wholeheartedly one of those things. Letting your kids come to you and be like, hey, you done fucked up, right? Because sometimes you did. You did. And even if you didn't, whether it's perception or whether it's truth, it still has an effect. Because even within your own body, whether you perceive something or whether it's true, your body doesn't know the difference. If you think it, your body is your brain. It's programmed. It doesn't know whether it's true or not. But it's gonna go on the personification that it is true and flow through your body like it is the truth. So even if it doesn't mean anything to you, what your grown children say to you, it means a lot to them. And for our parents, people older than us, even if you don't think it means anything, I am 53, and I have seen 50-year-olds, 60-year-olds still traumatized from their childhood, not being able to release what a parent has done to them or how the parents' actions have affected them. And now you're walking around in your 50s and your 60s and you're mad as hell. You're evil. You're evil. You're mad, you're mean, and you swear up and down you're not. And I'm not here to judge you. But that's what happens. And we don't even realize it. We don't realize that we're sabotaging our own happiness. But the same way we feel about our parents, sometimes these are the same people when their children are coming to them, talk about, Mom, you did me this way. That will shun their kids. That will get mad at their kids. So if you're one of those individuals out there that are harboring childhood traumas and shit, and have children that may be harboring childhood traumas, but you're negating their feelings but want your feelings validated and verified, stop. Just stop. Please stop, please. And don't come at me about my parenting, because I'm gonna say right now, I wasn't, hey, I'm not gonna say I was a bad mom. I'll never say that. You'll never hear me say that. But I know. And all I'm saying is, wherever you're at, whether you have children or not, you still have parents, whether they're here or not. If they have transitioned, trigger warning, if they have transitioned and you hadn't been able to get it off your chest, and, or whatever, I can't tell you how to find peace with that. But I can say if you don't find peace with it, it's going to stay with you forever. And unfortunately, the only thing that's doing is blocking. You're holding on to something, but it's taking up space that is meant for something better to be there. That space that it's occupying is space that's supposed to be for something else. See, all the good stuff, it can't come when you got all this other stuff not resolved within you. So, I said all that because, like I said, it's Mother's Day. It was Mother's Day yesterday, and, now we have Father's Day coming up. So this parenting thing just came up, and it's just so, so, so important to me, because we really are out here thinking we the best parents and not letting our kids, our grown kids, even, okay, I ain't saying let your 8 or 10-year-old be like, Mom, you did this and I hate you. Come on now. They still have feelings too, and their feelings do matter. And even talking through situations without putting them in grown people's shoes, we can still do that. But this is for grown on grown situations. This is for, I'm grown, you grown, parent grown, that's grown. This is what I'm talking about. So, I mean, if this, resonates with anyone, if someone needed to hear it, thank you. You know what I'm saying? Thank you, thank you, thank you for taking the time to, even listen. But we got to show grace, we have to show compassion, and we do have to show understanding. That doesn't mean dropping boundaries, that doesn't mean being disrespectful or allowing yourself to be disrespectful, but finding that way to be able to either release or allow release. You just don't know how much of the trauma built up within the individual's head there is, and how it affects their daily life. So, I mean, I love you guys. I love you guys dearly. If you are one of the ones that can't talk to your parents, or, you know what I'm saying, or can't talk to your children, don't have the words, I'm going to send a prayer up for you. Because I totally believe that if you sit with it, let ego sit to the side and let spirit lead. And sometimes listen with the goal of just listening. It could help you through it. Yeah. I mean, I've had to listen through things, and I'm surprised I still have a tongue. I'm surprised I do. I'm so surprised I do, because it's stuff you don't want to hear. You not gonna want to hear it. You gonna be boiling on the inside, because there's a lot of thoughts that are gonna come up. But if you sit with it, you will see the message behind it. And even if you can't respond to it then, respond when you can, if that's what you're led to do. Because sometimes no response is a good response. And sometimes just being there and allowing, providing that space for release, is all that's needed. And being respectful if we are the ones releasing, because you don't know the other side of the story. And even if you do, you don't know what was inside that person's head or what they were thinking, whether it was right, wrong, or indifferent. It's unconditional love. That's all we have here. So, thank you very much. It's been a long one, and I apologize. I'll try to make them a little bit shorter, but when spirit starts talking, then that's just what it is. So, I'm going to leave off by saying, just going to send some love, some light, and a whole bunch of sunshine your way. I love y'all. Be sweet till we meet again.